can get you, sir.
Okay, so you can get me in the meeting. How about on YouTube? Can you get me? Someone is saying on YouTube they cannot get me. I've seen a lot of messages. Okay. Let's see. Always.
Yeah, sir. There's no audio on YouTube.
The voice is low. We can't hear. So is it that the voice is low or my sound is just
There is no audio on YouTube,
there's
sir.
just completely no audio?
No.
Oh, this is bad. Okay, we can't hear.
Okay, it's back on now.
It's audible now. It's audible now. Okay,
Yep.
great. Probably some settings or something. No sound. Okay. We are audible now. We are audible now. Kindly confirm. Okay, we can get. That's awesome. Okay, so let's begin. I was asking to say, do we should I answer your questions as usual? So remember, today I'm also just trying to see how feasible it is for us to be able to work like this. So remember, we keep on losing time because there's so much to cover. To be honest with you, I want to go over topics over and over, but it's just been a challenge, right? Because we just don't have enough space. So what I'm now trying to do is to see if we can use innovative ways of interacting, and I'm glad at least today. Obviously, there's a hiccup on sound there, but I think I'm able to accommodate, even if 800 of you already have seen 213 viewing this live, so which is awesome. But I know we can yeah, we can go all the way up to 800. So my question now is, can I go should I go ahead with this lesson, or should I go ahead with this lesson, or I just get your questions? So if I get your questions, I can answer them like I do every day on Friday, or I can go ahead and just do the chapter that you're seeing on the screen. But if I do the chapter, it won't be there in the test. So which is which? I'm flexible because I'm using today as a test to see how well this works.
I think we can just go ahead with the chapter 4 here, sir.
Okay, so the people in the chat are saying we go ahead with the chapter. What about those in the chat? What about those in the chat? What do we say? Okay, and the reason, do the chapter. So some people, I want to get like a vast majority, and then I'll see what we see. So others are saying no, we don't understand. I don't know what you mean by you don't understand. Then there's the adjustment questions. Do the chapter. Let's go with the questions. Kindly guide on the coverage for the test. It will be very hard for you to be answering questions. Just continue with the chapter. I'll be the judge of that. Okay, do the chapter questions. Seems like we have a tie so far. Chapter questions, chapter questions. Okay, here's what we can do. Do you have a class at 11? Do you have a class at 11? Class reps in the main meeting. Do you have a class?
I'm just busy. We have TGs at 11.
Okay, you're quite faint. I can hear you speaking, but you're faint.
I'm saying that TGs, they're the ones we
Oh,
have.
you have tutorial groups. Ah, okay, I see. Questions. Okay, let me see the votes here. Questions. We do adjustment questions. We have TG. Yes. Kindly guide the coverage. Okay, I have a suspicion. If I go for the chapter, there will still be a lot of questions coming up. So I think I should go with the questions, because if this works, um, then I'll be able to do this, and we will be able to do 800 people every Friday. So I can go with the questions. I think I can go with the questions. I'll come and do the chapter next time, so we'll discuss how we'll go about that. I know we've lost time, but with this kind of arrangement we can even do 2 hours makeup, and everything will be okay. So I think I'll go with the questions. So what I'll be doing is I'll be trying to read the questions, right? And then I will be responding in just this hour. So if you have a question, I'll try to take as many as I can. So if you have questions, please just post them in the chat, and then I'll be able to attend to them. Okay, I'll be able to attend to them. And then also you can send the questions to the class reps if you want your question to just be read in case it's too much to type, and then I will also attend to them. Okay, so concerned about the network, if you're able to get me, let's go ahead. Some we still can't hear questions. Someone is saying, so my voice is too low. Let me get close. Is this better? If you're saying my voice is too low, just kindly comment on whether it's better now. I also suspect that the network I'm using today is just not okay, but yeah, okay, we'll improve. Okay, so I'm starting to get the questions. So the first question there is the test physical or online? So the answer is the test is going to be physical. The test is going to be physical. So the test will be physical, but then just prepare for both, just in case. In case, just prepare for both physical and online. So why can't we just do the balance sheet and P&L, the one in the tutorial sheet? I didn't have accounts in grade 12, so that part is too hard, and I'm sure it will come in the test. You're right, it will come in the test. I wish I saw that feedback a bit earlier. But what I'm going to do, so I'm responding to, okay, I'm just using your names, your screen names. So Vines, for now, because the time is too short, you may just need to go through it, practice that question, and as many questions as possible. Remember what I was saying in the meetings. Every time you finish, just go and practice the questions I was recommending, and it becomes easy once you practice. So right now it may take me about 1 hour or 2 hours to just explain that whole thing, and because you have other meetings as well, it may be a bit of a challenge for me to go through it. So please just do that favor for me, study, and then maybe post your questions. But then going forward, when we do any other meetings, when I recommend you go through questions, please do go through them, and then when we come to these meetings, I would want you to ask questions, because I believe that the questions were coming from there. Your voice is better now. This is good. The voice is very much okay. How do you go about doing depreciation in P&L, and how do we put it in the balance sheet? The issue of accumulated depreciation and that cost. So I will be speaking very fast, but Charles Banda. Okay, Charles, if you are able to give me feedback, it will be nice. And the reason I'll just be speaking very fast and then asking you to give me feedback, whether you do it or not, is because of the limited time. I only have less than 1 hour, so I'll just answer your question, and then I'm hoping you text and say yes, I've gotten it or something. So depreciation. Oh, and by the way, class reps, you can also say, I think you can now send the link in the group so that those who've got burning questions can join this meeting I'm streaming from, and then they can ask live. So how do we go about depreciation in P&L, and how do we put it in the balance sheet? So you will most likely be given depreciation in the additional information to the trial balance, Charles, and that depreciation you'll be given in additional information is depreciation for the year that you then put in the profit and loss as an expense. If you were attending class, you saw the way we put that in the P&L as an expense. And then accumulated depreciation will be that depreciation that you've been given in additional information plus the depreciation in the trial balance, which you will then show under accumulated depreciation in the balance sheet. So again, the only reason I'm not illustrating right now online, I've got the tools to illustrate. The only reason I'm not illustrating is because of the time. But if we had the time, I would have illustrated for you. I hope that little answer at least gives you something, Charles. Then any other questions? So is it always a rule that items in the trial balance are treated once while those in the additional information are treated twice? I don't understand what you mean, Owen. So I'll ask you to join the group and just come and clarify. Join the live meeting and then come and clarify your question. Come and clarify your questions. Those in the meet,
there's no audio on YouTube.
the voice is low. We can get it. That's awesome. Okay, so let's begin. I was asking to say. Okay, so those in the meeting, in the live meeting, please just put up, you don't even need to put up your hand, just unmute yourself and then let me know, right? You unmute and then you just ask your question. What method should we use in the calculation of depreciation? Now that's strange that you're asking today what method. The method you need to use is you will be told to say use this method. So for instance, the question that if we use straight line depreciation or use reducing balance depreciation, that little answer at least gives you something, Charles. Then okay, so then I've also got a question from how do you calculate depreciation using reducing balance method? So the reducing balance method, Mumba, is you simply calculate depreciation. So is it always using that items in the trial balance? You charge depreciation on the reduced balance. I know I didn't illustrate this. I asked you to so I'll ask you to join the group and just comment. But maybe join the if you guys can find some time meeting. I will request that you post a typical simple example in the WhatsApp group. I'll ask the class reps to open the WhatsApp group.
There's no audio on YouTube.
The voice is low. We can get okay. There's no audio in YouTube just right now. So the people in the main meeting, I need you to give me feedback. You're saying there's no audio in the on YouTube, or was I hearing something for some time ago?
The audio is there on YouTube, sir.
Okay, let's do this. Those who want to ask, I've seen not many people have joined because we've not shared the link with them. So those who've got burning questions, I think those who don't have questions can just watch. But those who have burning questions, I'm posting a link on YouTube. I'm posting a link on not on YouTube. I'm posting a link on I'm posting a link on in the WhatsApp group that you can use to join this meeting. Okay, so I'll be waiting for those who've got burning questions and want to ask live. Please do join, and then we can ask live. Admit all. Okay, those who are joining, you can put up your hand. I hope you know how to put up your hand. Just put up your hand and then go ahead and ask your question. So can I see hands of those who want to ask questions? Okay, so I've got Bright, who else? So Bright here, number 1, David number 2, Owen number 3. Oh, in fact, Bright 1, Owen 2, David 3. So let's go in that order. Bright, what's your question?
Yeah, sir, according to the tutorial sheet we had, like with valuation surplus, so how do we treat them? That's the first question. Then the second question, does it only affect the current assets like buildings, land, and other current assets?
Okay, that's a good question. So how do you treat revaluation surpluses? Just give me a few. Was the revaluation surplus already given to you, or you were asked to calculate it?
The revaluation surplus we were given 1.8 in the adjustments
Okay, so
1,800.
okay, so here's my quick one. Um, I'm going to do a lot of practice questions once we get some time. So I'll do a lot of practice questions so that you are very comfortable. But in the meantime, going into test 1, I want you to remember that same tutorial sheet as well, in case there's a struggle, maybe after we do our test 1. But when you have a revaluation surplus, the surplus is shown as income in profit or loss. Are we okay up to there?
Yes.
Okay, so the surplus will be shown as income in profit and loss. And then what happens with revaluation surplus is something like this. I'm just illustrating on the screen here. So I'll write something. Let's try and do this. Imagine those who are joining, please mute. So imagine you have an asset and it's carrying amount. Okay, I will just be speaking presuming you know what carrying amount. Its carrying amount today is 20,000, right? Now, if the carrying amount is 20,000 and then the asset is now revalued, okay, is now revalued, and the new revalued amount is 25,000. You're with me, is it David? You're with me, is it David who asked first?
Right.
Bright, okay, Bright. If now the asset has been revalued to 25,000, it means it has a revaluation surplus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of how much?
It had valuation surplus, which is 300, the depreciation plus the difference between the cost and the new amount.
Okay, let's start this again. The ignore depreciation because I've given you the carrying amount. That's why I was saying I'm presuming you know what the carrying amount is. The carrying amount is the amount after you've charged depreciation. So imagine you've been told that the carrying amount is 20,000. You're following, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yes,
the
yes.
asset has been revalued to 25,000. So it means it has a revaluation surplus now of how much?
Of okay, I don't have a calculator now.
It's just 25 and 21. Okay, give me the figures you want to calculate. I want you to get the principle, but I've given very simple figures.
Okay, according to the question, it had a cost of 1,500, and
Okay,
and it was revalued at 1,800.
okay, that's fine. Let me give me the figures from the question. So it had a cost of how much?
1,500.
Okay. Now I want everyone who's struggling with this to look at the thinking process I'll use. I'm not looking at the question, so I'll be presuming Bright is giving me the right figures. So it's 1,500. That was
Yes,
1.5 million.
the cost is 1,500 million.
Okay,
In short, it was 1,500.
okay, 1.5 million. Okay, that was the cost. Now, what
Yes.
was the accumulated depreciation up to the date the asset was revalued?
The accumulated depreciation.
Yes, up to the date the asset was revalued. When was the asset revalued? At the end of the year?
Yeah, at the end of the year.
Okay, what was the accumulated depreciation up to the time the asset was revalued?
It was 2,000 for that very accounting year.
2000.
32,000 for that, or 75,000 for that year.
Uh, Bright, you need to give me correct figures. Look at this.
Yes, yes.
You're giving me 72,000 accumulated depreciation.
75,000. That
Seven,
was the amount, the
seven,
depreciation for that very year.
but what is the accumulated depreciation up to there? Okay, if someone looked at the question, kindly also come in and help Bright, those who are already in the meeting. I don't want us to spend the whole time on just one idea, right? I want us to touch different areas. So anyone with the figures, what was the accumulated depreciation up to the date that the asset was revalued? Anyone? I don't think the figures Bright is giving me are correct.
Yeah, I have the figures here, sir.
What was the question again?
He's looking at your
The
tutorial sheet and he wants to see how you treat revaluation surpluses. He says there was a revaluation figure somewhere.
The revaluation figure was 1,800,000 or million, sorry. And then the accumulated depreciation for building was 360.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now let's start from there. So I don't want people to memorize. Okay, I want the principle, right? So I asked him for the cost. He's given me the cost. Is the cost correct? The one who's just come in to help him. Was the cost correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Then
it's It's 1,500.
Okay, then the next question is, what was the accumulated depreciation before the asset was revalued? Are you able to determine that from the question?
Accumulated depreciation for building.
For the same asset that's being revalued, I don't know which one it is, but just before the
It's
asset.
building.
Sorry?
Okay, yes, it's building. That's 360.
360. So how did you know
Yes.
that this was before the asset was revalued?
In the
Uh,
question, it says,
Okay, what does it say in the question?
can I read?
Yeah, you can.
sorry, the figures in the question is saying accumulated depreciation at November 2015 was 360 for building. And then now when we go to additional information,
Yes.
in additional information part E, that's when it's saying that building it was depreciated at 5% of cost. And then at 31st December 31 October 2016, the buildings were professionally valued at 1,800.
Okay, give me that last date again. At what date was that?
31 October 2016.
Okay, so I want the accumulated depreciation as at 31 October 2015. Are we sure
Yes,
it's 360?
yes, it's 360.
Okay, so it was given in the trial balance to say 31st December accumulated depreciation is
It's
360.
first, it's it's 1st November, not December. It's 1st
Oh,
November
1st
2015.
November, sorry. Because the asset
Yes.
was revalued the
Mm-hmm.
following day, right? I mean the previous day.
Yes.
Okay, Bright, are you following that? Because you're the one who asked. Are you following that?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so
looking
now
at the
look at
question
what
now.
I'm doing. You said you don't have a calculator. Are you seeing what I'm doing? So the carrying amount before the asset is revalued is supposed to be that much if the figures I'm getting are correct. I haven't looked at the question. So what you now do is to say two things. You've been told that the asset has a revaluation surplus, right?
Mm.
Of how much?
Over 18.
180.
Yes, 1,800.
1800 or 180?
Evaluation surplus was uh 1,800,000.
Okay, so like this. Like that?
No, you have made a mistake. It's not the revaluation surplus. It's the revaluation of the assets. It's 1,800, and then in the question it says we need to get the revaluation surplus.
Okay,
That's what it
great.
says.
So, Bright, have you heard that difference?
Yes.
That's why I was doubting the figures. So this is the revalued amount. So I want you to notice the difference, the different things that I'm writing here, because they affect where you put. If what you told me was a revaluation surplus, I would have put it here. But what you've told me is the revalued amount, and I'll explain the logic once I'm done entering this. So the asset has increased in value to 1,800, but the asset's carrying amount is supposed to be 1,140. So the difference there is, and it would have been good if you had the calculator so that you see the difference there is 660. So my assumption is that this asset initially costs 1,000, and I'm saying assumption because I haven't seen the figures, but I want you to get the logic. If the cost of the asset was 1,500, you ask yourself, what was the accumulated depreciation just before we revalued the asset? You calculate that. Then you find the carrying amount up to the date that you are revaluing the asset. Now at that point, you then compare the new revalued amount. So in practice, in industry, we'll get the revalued amount and we compare with the carrying amount. If the value has increased, it means we have a revaluation gain or revaluation surplus, right? And that revaluation surplus is that. So now how do you account for this? So I was saying the gain or surplus goes into P&L as as income, whereas now the new asset value, okay, the carrying amount of the asset will be the revalued amount. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's helpful, and I hope this is helpful to everyone who might be struggling with this. So it's a challenge. If you didn't study depreciation, remember when I was saying go and study chapter 1. If you didn't study depreciation, it becomes a challenge to even understand what's going on here. But this is what happens. Have I answered your question? Is it okay now, Bright? Can I go take the next question? Great. Let's go to question 2. David, what's your question?
Yes, sir. My question is on allowance for receivables. When they are saying that the allowance for receivables is to be increased to, let me just get the question properly. Okay, saying that allowance for recoverable receivables is to be amended to 5% of receivables. How do we know if it's a decrease or an increase?
Okay, so the way you do allowance for receivables is something like this. You start like this. Are you is this question coming from somewhere, like maybe the tutorial sheet?
Yes, sir, it's coming from somewhere.
Oh, okay, not the tutorial sheet, but just somewhere else.
It's coming from test 2 that was written in August 2023.
Okay, that's okay. So you start like this. You get your receivables. Give me the figures just in case you want an illustration. You can just give me the figures quickly. Receivables, what did you have?
198,000.
198. Is that in the trial balance?
Yes, it's in the trial balance.
198 million or just 1,000?
Just 1,000.
So I'll be safe if I put the thousands on top here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 198. Next question you want to ask. This is a thinking process. I'm giving you the thinking process and not the. Don't worry about the figures. Even if you give me wrong figures, as long as you walk away with the principle, right? The next question you want to ask is receivables. What is the figure for receivables? No. What is the figure for bad debts? Did you have bad debts in your question?
In the additional information, we have the recoverable receivables to be written off amount about 18,000.
Have you seen what I've done there?
Sorry?
Have you seen what I've done?
Yes, I'm seeing.
Okay, great. So why I'm doing that, because I want to remove, and you're saying it's in additional information, I want to remove any bad debts, right? So I'll get those out, and what do I get? What do I remain with?
198,018.
Okay, I need you to be coming with calculators. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. 180,000.
Okay, then now you can move on to provision for bad debts. Now you are telling me that you've been given a percentage, right?
Yes.
What's the percentage you've been given?
It's saying allowance for recoverable receivables is to be amended to 5% of receivables after writing
percentage?
5%.
You're going faint. I can't get you.
5%, sir.
Okay, 5% of your
receivables.
It just says
yes, 5%. 5% of receivables after writing off the recoverable receivables.
In fact, the examiner was even gracious. You've seen what they've told you? They said receivables will be 5% after writing off the irrecoverable
Recoverable.
receivables, right? They didn't have to tell you that, but I've already done that, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So so that will mean 180 times 5% gives me how much?
0.05 times 180. 9,000.
9. Okay. Then I know that's not the question you're asking, but I'll just go ahead and do this so that I'll say receivables. So the net receivables in the balance sheet will be equal to the difference between this and this is 171, right?
The difference between which one and which one?
This and this.
Now, can you just point? I can't see which one you're pointing at.
Okay, let me just say net. The difference between this net of debts and the provision gives us how much? I'm just doing the mathematics here, like 80 minus this.
9,000.
Sorry?
9,000.
The difference between 180 and 9 is 171, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Now, I'm still going to your question. Your question is, how do you treat increase and decrease in receivables, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the next question, the only last thing out here, there are just two things. I'm calculating the bad debts and the provision for bad debts so that I get the net receivables. But what was the provision last year? What was the provision? Because what we are doing here is for this year. Do you have any provision for last year in the question?
It only has allowance for receivables.
That's the same provision. How much is it?
24,000.
24. 24?
Yes, sir. 24.
Okay, so it means last year's was 24 and this year's is how much? We've got the figures on the screen. What's the provision for this year?
171.
Sorry?
171.
I want you to understand what each of these is. This is the total receivables before we start doing provisions, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this is what? These are the
Allowance for last year.
no, it's not the allowance. These are the bad debts. These are the people who have failed to pay us and we don't believe they will pay us. Okay, these are the people who owe us, and these are the people who who have failed to pay and we are sure they won't pay. Okay, and then these are the people we anticipate are going to fail to pay us. So it's a provision or allowance for bad debts. So I can see from here that you need to study receivables and you need to understand these terminologies. Are we together?
Alright.
Yeah, so that you can then easily pick. Now this is the provision for this year, and we said the provision or allowance for last year was 24, and then when we subtract those who have failed to pay us and those who we expect are going to fail to pay us, we remain with a net. These are the people we expect are going to pay us. These are the people, this is the money we can count and say, despite the fact that we've given out 198, we only expect 171. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so now if you subtract what you provided for last year, those who we felt we are going to fail to pay, and those that are going to fail to pay this year, how much is that for this year? Provision for last year was 24. Provision for this year is how much? Someone else can help him. How much is the provision for this year?
15,000.
Anyone with a provision for this year? Anyone else, so that we do another question? If you've been following, just anyone, those who are in the meeting, Oh, let me check in the chat as well. So if you're texting, I'm not able to see. I need you to speak as much as possible, but let me go and check if there's anyone. I've noticed there are some people who've sent messages in the chat, unless you just want us to attend to the question a bit later. Okay, 9. Thank you Chawezi on YouTube there. So Chawezi has given me so the reason you are struggling with this is that you need to go and understand these terminologies, otherwise the provision for this year is 9,000. So that now last year's was 24. Okay, last year's was 24 and this year's is 9. So if last year's was 24 and this year is 9, it means we have a, is this an increase or decrease? Is this an increase or a decrease? Is this an increase or a decrease? It's a decrease.
It's a decrease.
Okay. So now you have all the data. So in your question, in the balance sheet we expect to see that. In the profit and loss we expect to see this. This will be the receivables figure in the balance sheet, and this will be the some income, other income, because it's a decrease in a provision. So yeah, you've seen the work you have, Mr. Mwape.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hope that answers for other people as well. Let me have the next person was who was number 3? Kangwa, if you're still online, you can go ahead with your question. I know you are online, but if you can still get me, please go ahead with your question. Kangwa Muwanga.
All right. So there was a question in the additional information. There was insurance which was prepaid, but it was not included in the trial balance. So are we supposed to account for that as an expense when preparing the profit and loss, or maybe just account for it in the balance sheet on the current assets?
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned the current assets, which means that you know how to treat prepayments. So you're saying you had insurance. It wasn't, there was no figure whatsoever in the trial balance.
No, there was no figure for insurance in the trial balance.
That looks a bit strange. And then in the additional information, you weren't told anywhere what the charge for the current year is.
No, it just showed the under additional information just showed that we paid, there was telephone expense and insurance, but the telephone was in the trial balance, but I could not find the figure for insurance.
Okay, so my thought process for that would be, I need to find what the insurance charge for the current year is. That charge for the current year is what I would take to the profit and loss statement as an expense. Are we together on that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I haven't seen, is that, you said this in the tutorial sheet? I could check that and you can post as a reminder for if I've confirmed, but you are supposed to have a charge for the current year that you take to profit and loss. And then you were right about the prepayment. Any prepayment is going to go to the balance sheet as a current asset, and that's it. You are done. I think yours is straightforward. I just don't understand the where that information is missing. I think it's really supposed to be there. Okay, if you have a follow-up question, you can post it in the chat, but that's the approach you take. Let's go to number 4, Charity Sibande. You can go ahead with your question. Charity, we can't get you if you're speaking. Unmute yourself. Or maybe Charity is offline. Let's take the next person. Who are the people who have their hands up? Charity. Charity. Let's go to Skeva Sakala. Skeva, you can go ahead with your question. Oh, okay, yeah. Charity, if you are next, but I haven't seen you. Please go ahead with your question anytime when you hear me. But Skeva, let's go to Skeva. If you can get me Skeva.
Yes, sir. So my question is on question 2, tutorial sheet 3, where we are talking about the disposal and machinery accounts as well as the depreciation for machinery accounts. There we have outdated balances starting from 2014 to 2016. Then we were asked to prepare a machinery account in 2016 and 17. So does it mean we should start from 2014 when the machines were bought? Then another question is concerning modifications, installations, as well as insurance charges on the machines. How do we treat those? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll go straight to your second question because it's the most direct. So for anyone struggling with what Skeva has just asked about, it means you need to do that chapter. In fact, I think I noticed even when we're doing revaluation, you need to do, is it chapter 4 or 5 on non-current assets. But the way you treat and it will help you once you do it, and then we do more and more examples. But the way you treat those insurance and the additions is you are going to study somewhere on capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. You need to ask yourself a question: is this capital expenditure on the asset, or is it revenue expenditure? And if it is capital expenditure, then you need to capitalize the expenditure, which means you need to add it to the asset and increase the value of the asset. If it's revenue expenditure, for example, you can have a vehicle and you're paying for cleaning of the vehicle. That is not capital expenditure, it's just maintenance, it's revenue expenditure. So you don't need to increase the value of the asset. But if you have a vehicle and then maybe or let me use a building. You have a building and then you're paying for cleaning services. That's just revenue expenditure. It's not increasing the value of the building. But when you have a building and then you come and build an extension of the building, that's capital expenditure. So now I don't want you to get logic, okay? I don't want you to get logic. So Boza, I'm not presenting, I'm just speaking at the moment. So I don't want you to get in fact, it's a good idea that he's asked about that. Let me open the book and show you what exactly I want you to do, and I insist on you doing it because that's when we're going to build a strong cadre. So you need to refer to that. Your first question is didn't sound clear, but it seems to me like what you are asking is what should I do in this question, and my short answer to that is that what you do depends on what the question asked you. A lot of us will do more than the question has asked us to do. Okay, so I want you to just do what the question has asked you. I feel like I've glossed over your first question because I'm probably underrating it, but you can come back and tell me if I haven't answered it. But for the second question, the logic is what I'm showing you here. You just need to go to this part of the book. Remember, that's why I've given you the book. you can just study these. It's just boring stuff, you know, just boring stuff that you can just study. Even if I came to class, I would literally be telling you this same stuff, but then it makes a difference when you study it and then you practice some of those questions. Okay, so has that answered your questions, Keva? And if not, let me know whether or not.
Okay, for question 2, you have answered, but unfortunately, I can't see the screen where you are saying I should receive the book.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Can you yes?
That's okay. Let me.
Sure. So question two, you have answered. Then question 1, my concern was the asset was bought in 2014. Then we were asked to prepare the asset account, which is a machine, in 2016 and 17. Then we provide the depreciation for the same machine. So my concern was, should I start from 2014? The asset was supposed to be in the business for the period of 10 years.
Okay, I get you.
Thank you.
The short answer is indeed you know, for you to get the true value of the asset in 2017 or 16, you need to consider everything that has been happening on the asset from when we bought it, which means that you will what word am I looking for? You will you get all the accumulated, you get the cost when you bought it, you get all the accumulated depreciation from when you bought it to the time that you're accounting for it. Have I answered your second question now? Your first question?
Yes, and I'm happy for that. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's get Daniel. So I've run out of time. Now what you can do is those of us who've got other meetings, please, you can just drop out. It's really not strict. I think I'll give you an extra 30 minutes. I'll give you an extra 30 minutes in terms of so that you can just ask. So those who might feel 30 minutes to 1 hour. So if you've got a meeting or something, just go. In any case, I think you can still come and watch this presentation using the YouTube link in the WhatsApp group. So anyone, and you can fast forward to this point. So the next person with a question, let's go to